Hi, I'm Faina Hopkins, the RCC Foundation Scholarship Support Specialist, and I'm recording this video for students to refer to when applying for RCC Foundation scholarships. So let me share my screen. Okay, so there's two ways you can get here. You can either go to the main homepage for RCC, and right now there's an Apply Now to Scholarships button, which you can click, and that takes you straight to the scholarships page. Alternatively, you can go to the foundation page. The easy, like if this isn't there anymore. And the easiest way to get there is go to the RCC homepage, and then you'll scroll down until you see the foundation. Click there, and then up at the top, apply for scholarships. Now, this takes you to the page with all the scholarship information. So it gives you information about who can apply, which is any RCC student, either currently enrolled or if you will be enrolled in the upcoming term. And so for this, that would be for the fall term. And you must have a 2.5 and be enrolled in at least 6 credits. And then the scholarship opens April 14th and closes June 1st of 2025. And then there is a $1,000 early bird scholarship drawing for everyone who applies by May 1st. We'll choose one name and they will receive a $1,000 scholarship. Um, we try to award about 1 in 3 students, and you can receive up to $6,000. So you'll just scroll down to here where it says log into Scholarship Universe. And you do have to have an RCC ID email and password that you would have got when you signed up with RCC. Okay, so you log in, and this is your student dashboard. Mine does look a little different because I'm an employee, and so when I'm filling out the application and answering the questions, I'm kind of just putting random information in there. But it'll have your name and information about your progress. So you may have partial matches where you've answered some questions that match you to scholarships, but you may need to answer more questions. And so the questions are right here. And the questions are how we match you to a lot of scholarships. Uh, the minimum is typically enrolled in 6 credits and a 2.5 GPA, but some scholarships have additional requirements, like they may want you enrolled full-time or in have a GPA of at least 3.0. And then we also have many scholarships based on what your major is, or additional requirements such as what county you're located in. We have scholarships specifically for Josephine County residents and Jackson County residents. We have scholarships specifically for people who have been out of high school for a little while and are returning or training for a new career in a different type of workforce. There's many different things. So the more questions you answer, the more scholarships you may match. And so I'm just going to go here, answer more questions. And I will say that there are some questions that we use your data that would be received by the college. So things like major, your address, your birth date, basic information like that that you typically give to the college when you register or when you're admitted. we are able to upload that information. So it makes it a little bit quicker for you because you don't always have to answer all the questions. Let's see. So these ones are just pretty random questions that may only be tied to a few scholarships, but it's important to read through everything because if one of these applies to you, you'll click the checkbox and then it can match you up to different scholarships. So, such as, let's see, have you applied or been accepted into RCC's Human Services program? And so if that applies to you, you click yes. Let's see. Does your parent work at Phoenix High School? Are you a single parent with children under 18 years of age living at home with you? You know, there's many different scenarios. And so if any of them apply to you, just select as many that do, then continued. And there's just a bunch of different questions. So you'll just go through and answer them. And the further on you get, you'll eventually get to a point where you've answered all the questions that match up with our internal scholarships. And the internal scholarships are all of the RCC Foundation scholarships. We have nearly 150 right now, and many of those scholarships are available to multiple students. And then there are also external scholarships, which are from different organizations not tied to the foundation. So questions for the foundation scholarships will appear first. And then once you've answered all of those, it will continue on with many questions tied to other scholarships. So if you want to continue answering questions, you know, the more questions you answer, the more likely you are to be matched to scholarships. And at this point, I will say that we don't have the information about exactly how many questions you may need to answer before you've answered all of our foundation questions, because you're sometimes only presented with questions that are applicable to you. So one student may have to answer like 20 questions, but another student who is a nursing major may have to answer additional questions that are tied to nursing specific scholarships. But once you've answered questions for at least a good like 20 minutes, you should have everything covered. And see up here, it shows me how many scholarships I've matched to, and with the possibility of, you know, receiving several $1,000s. So those are the questions. That's one important aspect of the scholarship universe portal. And the other thing is applications. So you must fill out an application. And we just have the one, the RCC Foundation General Application. And so you'll just click continue. And this has a list of all the scholarships that are associated with the application that I have matched to. So as you can see, these are all foundation scholarships, and there's quite a few. And so I've already filled this out, but you'll just go through and answer all of the information. So these ones right here are for questions that I've answered that I matched to. So it has all that. If you need to edit any of it, just click the pencil and change it, and then continue. Oh, I verify. Continue. So this is information about the application. Um, Open date of 4/14, closes June 1st, early bird scholarship by May 1st. And then I will note it says if you complete your degree at RCC as of the spring term and will transfer to OIT, OSU, PSU, or SOU for the fall term, you won't be filling out this application. You can fill out a matriculation application, and that has 4 different scholarships for these specific schools. And then this is important to note. A red star indicates that it's a required field you must fill out. Sometimes some of the yes/no questions have NA, and just so you know, answering NA will be recognized as a no. And then a bubble. A lot of questions have a little question mark, like a little black bubble with a question mark. So hover over those anytime you see them because that has additional instructions that you might need to know. Okay, so the application is pretty short. During the next academic year, will you be enrolled at RCC? Yes. Continue. And an important part of the application is essays. And so we have 3 different required essays, as well as a few essays that are more scholarship specific. But I would suggest, filling all of them out if you'd like, because although the first 3 are required, if you do match to additional scholarships, we will take these into account as well. Um, so it's 1,000 character limit. So characters, not words. So keep that in mind. And we write, set yourself apart by giving enough specific details, highlight your unique qualities, stories of perseverance, educational accomplishments, and career goals. We do recommend that you put some time and thought into these essays. Take advantage of RCC's academic success services, perhaps um, write everything out in Word, proofread it, have somebody else review it for you as well, just to make sure that you're submitting the best possible essays because these are scored and this is an important part of the review process. Because even if you match to a scholarship and meet all the requirements, there are many other students who will as well. And so part of our review process is reading all of the essays. 3 separate people read and score every student's essays. And based on those scores, we take those into account when we are choosing who to award specific scholarships to. And then if English is not your primary language, we suggest you write it out and edit it in your native language and then get help to translate it into English before submitting it. So you'll fill all that out, continue. And then here is where you upload your transcripts. They do not have to be official. It can be a high school transcript, or if you have a GED, it would be the certificate of high school equivalency. So you just click add, put the file name, and then upload and submit. Okay. The letter of recommendation is another important part. So you want to find someone who knows you currently or recently in an official capacity. So not just a friend or a family member. It could be, a boss, a coworker, a teacher, a coach, anything like that. Someone who can speak to your character. And we suggest that you let them know in advance that this request will be coming because this is another thing that is scored and taken into account when we review all of our applications before awarding. So you don't submit the letter of recommendation here. You'll click add and then you just click request and you put the person's name, their email address, and then a message in here and submit. And then they will receive an email requesting the letter. And you'll be able to check on this. You'll be able to look to see if they've submitted it. I believe you'll get an email notification, and the person who receives the request, they will also get a few prompts from Scholarship Universe. So a few email reminders letting them know that it needs to be submitted because it does have to be submitted before the deadline of June 1st. Okay, and this is the last part. So you're just, this is all important required information. So you're certifying that all the information you provided is true and that you hovered over all those black question mark bubbles. You understand that in order to accept each scholarship, you must submit an online thank you letter. So during, let's see, the application closes in June. So in June, we are reviewing all of the applications. And then in July, we continue on with that. August is when we choose which students are awarded and we notify them. So you should, if you do receive scholarships, you will receive email notification in mid-August. And then you have about 2 weeks. So it'll be roughly the end of August, the beginning of September, where you have to submit an online thank you letter. So you'll receive an email letting you know that that needs to be submitted, and you must submit that. If you don't meet the qualifications as it's a requirement. And so just keep an eye on your email and make sure to, check your junk or spam just in case as well. So yes. And then this notes that your scholarship is divided into fall, winter, and spring. So if you receive $1,000 scholarship, it's divided between the 3 terms. So you get 334 the first term and then 333 the second and third terms. And it goes directly to your RCC account to pay for like tuition and things like that. If there's anything left over, then it's refunded to Bank Mobile or whatever account you designated with the college. Okay. And then this is stating that you understand all scholarships are made in good faith and that you'll notify the foundation via email in a timely manner if your eligibility changes. So when you receive a scholarship, you're agreeing that you're going to continue to meet the requirements. So if your scholarship requires a 2.5 GPA and 6 credits enrollment each term, you have to do that every term to continue receiving your scholarship. We check that information every term after grades have posted and then after the add drop date. And if you fail to meet the requirements, we cancel the scholarship and let you know that it has been canceled. But it is best to let us know in advance. Like if you know for some reason you're not going to be meeting the requirements, let us know as soon as possible. There are instances where you can fill out an exception request depending on the reasoning, and we may be able to reinstate it, but that's a case by case basis. So just, keep on top of things and keep in communication. And then this is by submitting the application, you give permission to the foundation to access, use, and share your application, academic and financial information with need to know parties to administer the scholarship. And when we review like your essays and all that information, any information like your name, your birthday, anything like that is blacked out. We try our best to redact everything so that your information isn't just given out to multiple people. But we do need to share information such as your essay in order to review and award. And then this is if I receive an internal scholarship, I give permission for my information to be shared for promotional purposes. We don't typically do this other than, your thank you letter. When you submit your thank you letter, we send that to your scholarship donor. Okay, and then you go through and make sure everything's correct. And then you'll submit it. And so you can go through here, awards. I don't have any awards yet, but if you have received something, it'll pop up here. Scholarships. This shows all the scholarships that you match to. And so it shows all the foundation scholarships first. So you'll see there's quite a bit that I match to just with my random answers. And then after all of the foundation scholarships, it also shows any external scholarships that you match to. So all of the internal ones are, again, just that one application, which is what we just went over. And then any external scholarships that aren't offered by the foundation, you will have to complete a separate application for those. So let's see. So like this one, it's an external scholarship. You can click view. It shows you the matching requirements and any additional information. And then you can click apply. And it takes you to the website for the external scholarship where you can apply. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We have our email address on the website. It's RCC Foundation at roguecc.edu. All right. Thank you.